Hi, my name is Ivy Starnes, and I'm a gaited horse trainer in Fort Worth, Texas. It's been a few months since I've done a live video, but I'm going to be starting up this winter. And today we're talking about why you shouldn't buy pacey horses. Now, for those of you who already own a pacey horse, don't worry, you're going to work with the horse you have because the horse you have is great. But this is for anybody out there that's looking to buy a gaited horse. This is something that's been a real struggle for me this summer. I don't know if I could say it that way. It's I've done a lot of clinics and a lot of training this year and this summer in particular, and so many of the horses have been pacey, or people email me and ask me about their pacey horse, and their horses are very, very difficult to gait. Now, there's a really easy solution to this, and the solution is stop buying pacey horses. Now, some of you are going to be like, I didn't know my horse was pacey. That's okay. This is not telling you that you did a horrible thing when you bought your gaited horse. But for those of you that are looking, stop buying pacey horses. If the horse in the video is pacey or doing a stepping pace and is high-headed, don't buy it. The other part of this is don't buy gaited horses that are high-headed. Now, that does come with a little bit of a caveat because there are lots of gaited horses that have a high head, but as soon as they are trained to put it down, they move really nicely. So that's definitely less of a hard and fast rule than the paciness. But let's talk about why you shouldn't buy pacey horses or high-headed horses. First off, pacey horses often really struggle to get gait. Now, some of them are pretty easy to fix. I've come to clinics, they were a little pacey, and I got it fixed in 3 lessons, and then it's great. But most of them, the majority of gaited horses that are pacey, are much more difficult to get to change, especially if they've been ridden a lot and have had years of the bad habits and the bad muscle memory, the bad brain training, muscle training that has gotten them to be really pacey. Those are really hard things. If you buy a pacey horse, you're going to work with the horse you have, and that's okay. But if you can avoid it, don't buy the pacey horses. The other reason not to buy pacey horses is often they are ridden, or the pacey horses carry themselves badly. They often hollow their back. That's actually just the nature of the pace. The pace is a very stiff movement of the gait. The horse doesn't bend their legs very much. They tend to drag their toes. You can often just see that in really pacey horses. If you ride them, you'll see them dragging their toes through the ground. This makes them also trippier, since at the pace, they don't really have to lift their legs up very much, which that alone can make them more likely to trip and fall, and this is a bad thing when you want sure-footedness, of course. We also want to consider how much damage this, if the horse has been ridden a lot, how much damage has been done to the horse physically, their bone structure, their ligaments and tendons, how much you're going to have to strengthen that before you have a horse that's rideable. So the short answer is don't buy those pacey horses. The problem, of course, is that so many of the horses are pacey. And let's talk about the breeds. The majority of horses that are pacey is going to be the 2 most popular breeds, which, or at least when I say most popular, the most numerous in the United States, and that's going to be the Tennessee Walking Horse and the Spotted Saddle Horse. Now, the Spotted Saddle Horse especially is super popular because of the markings, because of the color, but many of them are very pacey, just like Tennessee Walking Horses. A lot of them are just pacey. Now, I've owned wonderful Tennessee Walking Horses, and there are well-gaited Tennessee Walking Horses, but overall, as a breed lately, a lot of them are not well-gaited. They're often very pacey. So if someone's coming to me and they're looking for a gaited horse, I'm going to say, don't buy a pacey horse, stay away from Tennessee Walking Horses, and stay away from Spotted Saddle horses. Patty says, my Tennessee Walking Horse is pacey and has a long back. Yes, that's super uber common in Tennessee Walking Horses, that they're pacey and they have a long back. And you have to really combat that, which if you followed my exercise in November, which was leaning back, that definitely helps the horse to get stronger, and I'll be doing more information and more research on that. I've got some fun stuff coming about that, so I'm really excited Second, spotted saddle horse has the same tendency. High-headed horses. Now, this can be found in every breed. This is not exclusively Tennessee walking horses, but I'm going to talk about touch on an area when you see skinny-necked, high-headed horses. This, again, is most common in Tennessee walking horses and spotted saddle horses. This means they tend to have a long back, but not guaranteed. They tend to use their bodies badly, and also, if they have that long, skinny neck, just be aware that they might have a tendency to turn their head and not turn their body. It just means steering might be harder. The reason I bring these up is because nobody talks about this. Your breeder, the magazine that has an article about Tennessee walking horses, is not going to tell these things to you because they want to praise their breed. And I've owned some wonderful and ridden wonderful walking horses, but you have to be aware. 𝗵cie says they have sickle hocks and goose rump too, and I'm hoping to do a more comprehensive talk about what all of these terms mean. Sharon says some are hard to get gaiting. Her mare is one of them. Yeah, her mare is extremely difficult to get gaiting. I worked with her mare at a clinic, and her mare has had all the right training, head down, age-wise, and is still very, very, very pacey. Kim asks, what about Missouri Foxtrotters? So Missouri Foxtrotters could be both. They can be trotty and they can be pacey. I see about 50-50 of the ones in my clinic. They can also have really bad training as well. But if I was to recommend breeds, the top 3 breeds that I would recommend would be Missouri Foxtrotter, Rocky Mountain, and Kentucky Mountain. Now, be aware, Missouri Foxtrotters right now are up in popularity as far as I can see, so the prices have gone up. But that's not like a reason not to buy them. Marcia says, my Missouri Foxtrotter is half and half. Yes. Well, you'd much rather have a horse that's trotty and pacey or trotty than one that's just pacey. However, so many people struggle with pacey. I'm actually going to be looking to buy or get given a pacey horse for a project to video the progress, because all the horses that I've had recently are all trotty. And so I can train that, and that's easy. It's super easy to train a trotty horse to gait, but the pacey horses are hard. Johnny says, I have trouble getting my mare not to pace on the lunge line. Is there anything I can do to help that? It's a great question, and I'll post links in the description with all the pacey horse videos. What you want to do is the lunge line should be about softness and slow. You want to work on head down. You want to do everything slow, so don't go past the walk. If your walk is high-headed, you can put a lot of ground poles down so they have something to step over, and stop and praise for head down. Sharon says, want to use my mare. Sharon, if I could easily get your mare here, I would totally use her for this, and I think it would be awesome. Marcia says, he has a wonderful foxtrot, slips into a pace occasionally. Marcia, if that's the case, then most likely you need just a little bit of head down, or you've lost a little bit of energy, or your horse is out of shape. That's another video that's going to be coming up, is talking about how I think many riders don't realize how physically demanding it is to get your horse to ride on long trail rides and stay in gait. Tanya says, or Enzo. Well, I would totally do that, Tanya. I think Enzo has a lot of pain issues that are actually hindering his gait. It's not so much about the pace. It's about a lot of physical issues, which I'm going to do a video about soon because I've seen that come up so much this year. Horses that were gaiting and then stopped gaiting and then it was fixed with physical issues. I've got some exciting stories or accounts to tell you about that. So going back to, don't get high-headed, long skinny-necked, pacey horses. There is a lot of them online for sale right now, and there probably will always be that. And it's not a good look for gaited horses, but it is the look we're used to seeing. So many people that have learned the right way of getting horses to gait, they say they go on a trail ride and their friends say, oh, look, my horse is gaiting. And the person looks at them and go, your horse is just pacing or doing a stepping pace and the head is high. And it's so difficult. Deborah Smith says, you work with Pasifino horses? If so, I'd love to see a video. Deborah, I do work with Pasifino, and I don't work with a lot. I do have videos. They're just farther back, but I work with them the exact same way I work with walking horses and Rocky Mountains and Foxtrotters and Icelandics. It's the same principles. And I did look last year, I was looking for people to bring me like pacey horses and a Pasifino, and didn't really get a lot of interest in that. So that will happen at some point, but I can only show you footage of horses that I've worked with, especially in the last couple of years. They tend to be a little bit more, for Pasafinos, they tend to be in the category of horses I don't work as much, mostly because I think people think their horses are gating and they're told that my methods won't work. So that's a bummer. But I do have footage of Pasafinos and Peruvian Pasos. So you just have to go look for those. If you need to buy a gaited horse, and I know there's horses out there that are really pacey, and that tends to be a lot that are for sale, look for some that are either trotty or do show gait. I would, if I were you, unless you love training, do not buy a pacey gaited horse. Because most likely what you'll find is a lot of frustration. It doesn't mean you won't get there, and it doesn't mean that that horse is not worth it. But unless you're going to really, really work, a pacey horse is going to be not smooth as a general rule. 𝗵cie says, I have a Kentucky mountain horse who does head down, ridden in a rope halter. When ridden in a canter, he tries to trot in the hind and canter on the front. 𝗵cie, so I have quite a lot of videos on cantering your gaited horse. Check those out because they talk directly about how you should get a gaited horse to canter, which is over poles, because a lot of them need help with their canter. You could ask Sharon about that. We worked with her guy, Hudson, a lot. Crystal says, my 13-year-old Rocky mare didn't really gait until she was 10 after tons of work. She also only gaits on flat surfaces. We mainly trail ride at the walk, which works for us. Her gait is also very slow. Yeah, all those things can be worked on. I'm going to throw it out there. I have a private training group. I know Sharon's part of it. 𝗵cie's part of it. Tanya's part of it. Maybe a few other people on here. And I have gobs of footage of how to get horses to gait longer, gait faster, do more groundwork, leaning back, clicker training, liberty work. I'm hoping to do more bridleless, but there's a lot of footage on there. And I'll put a link that in the description. And this year only, because I'm changing it on the new year, it's $99 to join. The price is going to double next year. So that's just for anybody that wants. And Sharon says it's a wealth of info and support on the private group. It is. So if you don't join it, it's totally fine. There's going to be these free videos. I'm going to be doing fewer free videos unless it's going to be talking like this, because I'm going to save a lot of the video clips for the private training group. Okay, just something fun. I just finished this painting today. Right here, this one. This is one, it's funny because as a painter, there's things that I don't like about my art. And so this one I created and didn't like it. And so then I went back in with pen and drew a lot of the stuff on here, and I'm much happier with it. So anyway, just something fun to show you guys, being creative. It is December, so I am going to wish everybody Merry Christmas, because I like Christmas. And I'll be back, hopefully, talking about horses and the physical issues that can cause them to stop gaiting and the experiences I had this year, and talking about how conditioned your horse needs to be and how to think about that. So, don't buy pacey horses. In the description, I'm going to put links on how you can help the pacey horses you do have, and we are going to continue this journey together. You guys got this.